So I felt it was necessary to make a video because I feel like making a video and I have the spare time. So I've noticed that some people like to make the comments to me about living in my mom's basement or living with my parents or whatnot. I want to tell you a little bit about me and the mentality of the parents I no longer talk to who don't even know my new fucking location. They don't even know that I moved or how far I moved, which is great. Oh, and if any of you think that it's a funny idea to get a hold of my parents and give them that information, you're gonna catch like five in the fucking face. I'm not playing. Like, I will scalp you in front of your loved ones and burn you alive in public and publish the fucking show on like every fucking piece of the internet that I can. Because fuck you. Because that is the kind of disrespect you would be doing to me if you did that. Now, on to what I'm actually here to talk about in this video. My parents, if I lived with them, I would not be able to keep my firearms because when I was growing up and I started playing airsoft, my mom was the kind of person who told me that I needed to keep my airsoft equipment, all of it, in a storage unit away from the house. I was a 21-year-old in the National Guard, and I lived with parents who did not want me bringing home replica rifles to play a valid sport with. I currently own plate carriers with level 4 plates. If I brought that home while living with my parents, my mom would have taken the plates and sledgehammered that shit until they were unusable. And then she would have taken scissors or knives to the plate carriers to ensure that I could never use them again. There was a time when I was doing laundry and I had my duty uniforms and my airsoft uniforms in the same load because physically they are the same kind of material and you wash them the same way. And since I only had a third of a load of one and a third of a load of the other, I just put them together in the same load. My mom was the kind of person who, when I tried to bring in the laundry and put it away, she snatched the basket out of my hands, which, by the way, if one of you does that, you're getting stabbed in the throat and having your body bleed out put on the internet because fuck you. She took the basket from me and pulled every single item out of it one by one and asked me if it was military or airsoft. And everything that I said was military, because she wasn't smart enough to figure out that the ACUs were military and that everything else was not. She would set my military stuff respectfully on the couch, and anything that was not military she threw on the floor in front of me while looking at me with a hateful facial expression. I currently drive a diesel SUV that I painted a dark green flat color by myself, and I've been told it actually looks pretty good for a masking tape and rattle can job that it is. If I had done that, my mom would have probably done something to vandalize my vehicle. In fact, I probably would have been kept down to the point where if I attempted to purchase my own vehicle instead of something fuel efficient like what they provided me, which I traded off a long fucking time ago because I no longer drive that car and I'm happy with the vehicle I drive now, whether you approve of it or not. And before you say something stupid, imagine your head getting, not biting the curb, your head's going to be sideways as I jump up and down on it on the curb while you watch your head bust the fuck open. Because shut your fucking mouth before it opens and I have to drag sharp things across your face. Because fuck you. Bringing home too big of a vehicle would have been more of a problem than it is in some of the places I have to park, because I guess a large SUV is not good for a parking lot designed for Honda Civics and below. Totally no one's fault on that one, by the way, except for if I had the money to purchase my own vehicle, I should have had the money to move out. And if I'm not moving out, I can pay more rent. Yes, I paid rent to live in my parents' house. And at one point, it was going to go from the $100 a month because from 18, 19, and 20, they were being generous about it. At 22 or 23, when I had the conversation, They said they were going to charge $600 a month. And this was many years ago when you could live in an okay-ish kind of neighborhood for $450 a month as long as you could pay utilities. Except I wasn't making that much a month, and you have to make a lot of money in order to afford, like, basically you have to make just over twice, sometimes three times the amount of your rent, and that is to ensure that you can afford the utilities and the services and not be one of those people who's just paying rent and then requiring roommates that the lease doesn't allow you to have, or simply sleeping on a piece of cardboard in your nice apartment because you can't afford food, bed, sheets, or to do the fucking laundry. Yeah. In fact, the last time I had contact with my parents, I was forced to tell them I was deploying. I wasn't even going to tell them that much, but someone who decided not to listen to me when I tried to explain how bad it was and why I went into contact with my family, decided he was too good to listen, which honestly, if they knew the entirety of the situation and how sick it made me to visit them again, they might not have put me in the situation they were in. I got into arguments and confrontations with Family Readiness before I left the military because they continually asked for my parents' contact information, which I told them I'm not in contact with my family. I don't have a family. I am by my fucking self. Apparently, commissioned officers don't give a fuck. The only family I have is a cat, and I'm okay with keeping it that way.